Every young person should feel safe in the capital, but knife crime figures tell us otherwise. And all this week we're focusing on the impact, hearing from Londoners dedicated to making a difference and looking at potential solutions to help tackle this ongoing challenge. We start tonight with a scheme where 11 to 14-year-old students are being shown a powerful dramatisation of an attack using real-life medics and actors with the aim of preventing them from becoming a victim in future. Carl Mercer's report, I should warn you, does show a realistic reconstruction of a knife crime incident that some viewers may find upsetting.
It's all right. It's going to be okay. The ambulance is here, all right?
A young man has been stabbed and the paramedics are on the scene. Watching a group of 11 and 12-year-olds at Paddington Academy. This is the SHARP project, aimed at teaching youngsters what to do and what happens when someone is stabbed.
Lean forward, I'm going to check, make sure you get no more holes in you. Okay?
In the ambulance service we are often dealing with children who are victims of knife injuries. Those children are in uniform. We are cutting off blazers. We're dealing with blood-soaked shirts. It's quite traumatic to see that, but it's happening more and more often.
If you do the correct actions, you're going to save them. If you do the wrong actions, you're going to kill them.
I think this experience is really helpful to us as it learns us how to not panic on when anyone gets stabbed in front of us or anywhere. Like if we call an ambulance to help us put pressure on the wound, like we've been taught here.
It was really good and we learned loads from it, like for example how to prevent knife crimes.
The workshop follows the journey of Adam from being stabbed into the ambulance and then into the operating theatre.
There's just quite a lot of blood here. Can I have some swabs, please? We just need to pack the abdomen.
It's realistic and meant to be. The medical staff here aren't actors, they're real professionals, volunteering their time to try and make a difference. Too often, this sort of procedure is for real.
I can almost set my, watch by it in the sense that you have after school, you're expecting the trauma calls to be related to young people that have been stabbed in one way or the other, and they vary. So some of them maybe what is considered not too serious because we can stitch them up either in the emergency department, and others we have to take them to the operating theatre, from opening their chests to opening their bellies. And these are life changes. Press hard.
Yep, pressing hard.
How's he doing?
I get very scared, so I try to go next to the school to feel safe. And then when I go to my home and get my laptop, I go with my dad if he's in the home, and he takes me to the library back.
Carrow Road is a really common place for people to carry knives and people feel unsafe. And it's good to learn about it at this age because it could happen 13, 14, you don't know what to expect.
Mum, it wasn't my fault, it just happened, okay?
Look what you've got, son! You've got a bag that you have to put in!
I know!
The project, run by Imperial College London, has so far seen around 600 school children, deliberately targeting those between 11 and 14.
Hey, with those kids!
That's an age when we can make a difference, particularly in explaining what could lie ahead and hoping that they will make different decisions, knowing more about what the possibilities are.
He managed to stab me, in a fight here. And at that moment, I just realised, I've got to get out of this situation or I'm going to die on the floor.
Hamid has been involved in a number of the workshops. He knows how damaging knife crime can be. He was stabbed on his 18th birthday by a gang who wanted to steal his bike.
It literally affects everyone around you because your parents, they've got a duty of care. Your school does, your community. So I feel like people nowadays don't actually understand how much it affects everything around them. They think it's solely on the person that's been attacked. Even the attacker, it affects them. Because we've got to actually understand that what's led that attacker to do that.
It was shocking, yeah. And I felt bad because no one deserves to be stabbed like that.
We're obviously young students in a country where stabbing has obviously increased the amount of crime, so I think it's very educational for us to learn how to prevent it, what to do when it happens.
Can you see this blood moving?
While these workshops continue, there are plans to run out a new model, looking at what happens in the justice system for those caught up in knife crime. Carl Mercer, BBC London.
Well, watching that with me was our Home Affairs correspondent Sonia Jessup. That is a powerful message to young people Do you think that's what it's come to?
Well, there is a lot of concern over how to keep young people safe, and particularly in the last few weeks since the killing of Eliane Andam. Remember, she was the 15-year-old girl stabbed on her way to school in Croydon. And a lot of people were saying, well, it just feels like things are getting worse. But if we take a look at the data, this gives us an idea of the trend. Since the pandemic, you can see that knife crime has been on the rise. We had more than 13,000 incidents recorded last year. But you can still see that it's lower than before the pandemic. The peak was around over 15,500 incidents.
Okay, so if that's the overall picture, what about specifically young people?
That's right. Well, if we take a look at homicide levels for a start, so far this year, 20 teenagers have lost their lives to violence. Most of those have been stabbings. Now, that is already higher than what we had last year, 14 young lives lost. But thankfully, we are not near that figure, or that record figure in 2021 of 30 teenagers that lost their lives. Now, of course, we can look at injuries too. We got some figures from London Ambulance Service. We asked how many people they treated for knife injuries under the age of 25. 225 people were treated for knife injuries last year. That's around 4 a week. So it's no surprise that young people are worried about their safety and that there is concern across communities across London.
And I know that people like you and Carl, we saw the report there, highlight some of the things that are being done to address this. There is no overnight solution, is there?
That's right, but all this week we are going to be hearing from lots of individuals, lots of groups who have ideas, solutions to this, who are working very hard to try and make a difference. We heard from the Sharp Project there, trying to educate young people. Tomorrow we will hear from a family with an extraordinary story of how they have been personally affected by knife crime too. We're going to hear from youth workers, from London's Violence Reduction Unit, and most importantly of all, I think we're going to hear from young people themselves.
Yeah, hugely important, as you say. A big focus on it this week here at BBC London. Sonia, thank you.